day and age with social media, where women get bored at the drop of a hat because they got hundreds of guys that they beck and call online, Instagram DMs, Facebook, whatever. And that's just online. Don't even get started when you go out. So women get bored and they get doing all this other shit. It ain't nothing for a bitch to flake, lie, break up with you or nothing. You ain't never in your life seen so many women ask for space. Why? They got hundreds of dicks thrown at them every day on social media.
Women are more afraid of being alone than a man. So what happens is, it's so easy for a woman to grab up a little beta male that she could go to the gym with, that she could go on dates with, and pretend to be in a relationship until one day she decides to tell him, hey, I don't want to be with you. But he looking at it like, what did I do wrong? And the problem is, she has to dispose of you before the guy that she wants finds out. All right?
Hey, Mama Terry is one who terrorized fathers for being their children's lives. That's one of them. That's the main definition, but there's so many others because fathers are elderly after pictures due to failed relationship divorce. They tend to run the child support just to get a financial gain and also have power over the child. That's a man's kryptonite when he's not able to be a father. And that's a woman's power structure. You know what I'm saying? So when I call baby mama Terry, it ain't got nothing to do with just somebody being a baby mama. No. It's just a baby mama Terry is any woman, black, white, blue, green, that is willing to destroy a father by destroying a child. So that's what a baby mama Terry is.
So what does that tell you? That tells you guys are tired of that generic bullshit. Generic bullshit. Guys are tired of that. Oh, you do the right thing, you tell her this, and you do that. We done with that bullshit, guys.
You say, man, I tried being alpha with her, she left me alone. Man, I didn't call her that much, she left me alone. No. She just didn't like you.
And that's a whole fact. What's up, class? What's up? How you guys doing tonight, man? How's y'all night going? You know what I mean? Much appreciated. Thank y'all for coming out, spending y'all night with me. You know what I mean? And it's late. You know what I mean? I really, really appreciate you guys. Guys, do y'all see what's going on, guys? These people want the truth. These people want the truth, guys. Hell yeah, free Mr. Palmer, guys. We got 3 more days. And Mr. Palmer coming back with a vengeance. You know what I mean? But you're right, KDH. We don't die, we multiply. But guys, the women are getting upset with us, guys, that got some common sense. So what I'm finna do today, guys, I'm finna break it down to the molecule. Because I need you guys not to block your blessings. And I need you guys not to fall into trap. You know what I mean? These guys that made a new definition for every single word. They done confused and they done chaotic everything. You know what I mean, guys? Everything is chaos. So today, guys, I'm going to break down what an emotional, unavailable man is. Because I'm one of those. Guys, tell you the truth. I'm going to admit that. Let me admit that. I'm unavailable. Because you see, we live in a land, guys, and I done told you this before, where they want to play on your emotions. They want to play on your goddamn intelligence. You know what I mean? The women, society, everything. You know what I mean? The beta males, hell of a sons, everybody. They trained to play on your emotions, guys. All right? So before we go any further, y'all know what time it is. It's time for those of you that stumbled on into here because you saw one of my YouTube shorts and you thought it was what you thought it was and it's not what you thought it was. So now you fitting to sit in here and hate and you ain't fitting to be a part of the gang over here, over a part of the bread gang. It's time for y'all to go. You know what I mean? If you in denial of the truth, then it's time for you to go. If you think you know better than me, if you put in more work and more hours in this shit than me, if you have a virtuous woman or an alpha male, then, you know what I mean? Then I'm going to put a 1 in the chat so I could drop the link and we could cook together. You know what I mean? But other than that, If you fitting to be over here and get frickle and start telling me what you know because you did it all, you always did it like that and you're still poor, then it's time to get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? And I mean that with sincerity, you know what I mean? Because we growing too fast. And what that tell me is that people want the truth. And what we giving over here, what we delivering by removing the gray area, because we don't cater to any groups, gangs, communities, religions, feelings, or emotions. We cater to the truth and we cater to common sense and we do not complicate it. And I think people want that. Yeah. I think the people want that. So salute to all my new guys that's coming in and my new ladies that's coming on in the class because y'all want the truth. Y'all value quality content, quality information, useful information, not just that bullshit entertainment. You know what I mean? That leave you stuck. But anyway, like I was saying, guys, you want to be emotionally intelligent, guys. You want to be emotional intelligent at all times, guys. These are our 27 emotions, guys. I'm going to let it sit there so that we can read that, all right? Get your pens out, screenshot it, clip it, you know what I mean? So that you know that. If you let anybody control any one of these, you're a dead person. You're a goner. You're not thinking for yourself. You still think you're thinking for yourself? Did you know you only had 27? People only thought they had 5. You know what I mean? The regular 5 shit, the fear, this, you know what I mean? You know, the mainstream bullshit. But no, we have 27. And they are programmed to play on all 27 of these, guys. You feel me? All 27 of these. So this is why I tell you guys, stay emotional, intelligent. Aviator Views, what's up, my guy? What's going on, home skillet? Know what I mean? Let's start with one. Cause a lot of you niggas and chicks, y'all get your admiration for shit. Y'all get addicted to admiration. Y'all admire too much shit. And once you start admiring too much shit, they control you. You know what I mean? And then you got the adoration. Y'all adore shit. Yeah, everything cute. This y'all females that like to lie and eat crab legs. You see an ugly chick and you want to sit there and lie. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Want to sit there and lie. Oh, she's adorable. No, damn well she ain't adorable. You simp niggas that's jumping up and down on everybody post talking about, oh, what up adorable? Or what up cutie? Lying and eating crab legs. You're controlled. You're addicted. You're addicted. So you can be controlled. You know what I mean? And the list goes on, B. You know what I mean? The list goes on. These are the lists right here. You got to make sure you're in control of these 27 at all times, guys. At all times. Or you're going to fail. You're going to suck at life. You're going to suck at life. Niggas say, yo, Mr.Goodbread, stop that third one because he couldn't pronounce it. You damn right, nigga. you damn right, nigga. Word. You know, we real in the field over here. You know what I mean? We real in the field, but you can pronounce it, so you know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Don't get controlled by it. Don't overcome it. Overcome that. You know what I mean? See, I don't even know it. I don't even know it. So that shit ain't in my bloodstream at all. You know what I mean? Shit. Yo, Reed said it best the other night. Shit, we learning together, nigga. So you's a fool. You think I'ma know it all. You's a dummy. You's a whole dummy. If you're not copying me and you're not following, and you is a dummy. How can you not? You know what I mean? There we go. That's my guy, Jacob. Yo, that's the aesthetic appreciation. Aesthetic appreciation. There we go. Aesthetic appreciation, boy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love my squad, yo. Salute to the good bread, yo. Son, we is gonna take over. I told y'all we was gonna be at 5,000 by next year. By the end of this year, we gonna be at 5,000 squad. Salute to y'all. Total team effort, yo. I could not have done it without y'all, yo. I praise y'all. Y'all don't understand. I wake up with y'all on my mind and shit. Y'all niggas is crazy. Word. Let's move it on. Let's move right along though. But make sure y'all take a screenshot of that and know this. Know these things right here, yo. This the shit they don't teach in school. That's why we come to the school of common sense. You know what I mean? So let's get on into what we came here for. I'm gonna go straight into the main event because a lot of y'all need to know and learn why y'all block y'all blessings, why y'all block your own blessings. It's y'all doing it to y'all. And I tell y'all that all the time. Just like in the black community, we kill each other. You know what I mean? We do it to ourselves. That goes all around. That blueprint goes all around, down to the battle between self versus self. You do it to your own self. You know what I mean? When you're fighting that battle. So let's get into it. You know what I mean? That's a fact, KDH, yo. That's a fact, yo, because we are the sum of the people we hang around. You know what I mean? We are the sum of that. And that's a whole fact, squad. That's a whole fact. You know what I mean? Up. We got a cash app. Not just reminded me to take that off. Did I salute you yesterday, Breeze, for the cash app? And somebody else sent me a cash app too at the end of the show yesterday. But let me go on and take that notification off, guys. So the rest of you guys that's cash app, and I'll hit y'all up tomorrow live. But for this one, here you go. Salute education over entertainment. Gotta love him, yo. Gotta love him, yo. Gotta love him. But salute to you again, education over entertainment, man. Much love and appreciation. You already know. You already know what time it is. All right, guys, let's get on into the main event. We're going to go main event early. Those of you that's tuned in over at the State of the Art New School, at the end of this broadcast, at the end of this, that's going to be it for you guys over there on your video. You know what I mean? And you're going to have to come on over here to the Mr.Goodbread show. You know what I mean? To the old school, to the school of common sense. That's how that's going to work. All right? So you could rock out, or you could do that now. You can hit like and hit the subscribe if you're new over there. And then come right on over here, Mr. Goodbread show. You know what I mean? And join the chat. You know what I mean? And nobody bites. We all cool. You know what I mean? We do not hate women over here. We don't drag women over here. We just know the bullshit. And we only fuck with real women over here. We only fuck with real women with thick skin that know what time it is. So, you know what I mean? If you trying to control shit that you ain't got no control over, then you don't even come. Don't unsubscribe. Just go on. Go on now. But let's get on into why these folks run around here blocking a blessing and why they really running in place and what the whole thumbnail is about, guys. Let's talk about the whole thumbnail, bro. All right? I told you guys a while back, you know what I mean? I told you guys a while back that this channel was not going to be for everybody. This channel and this class was going to be for like real elites, like elitists in society, like type shit, like chosen ones, like the chosen ones, you know, the shit where niggas is walking on eggshell, but we know better. We walking on water type shit, like no cap, no crab leg, guys. Like I've been told y'all that. Mr. Palmer even said it. That's why I put him on the intro when he said that shit, son. You know what I mean? I don't need 100 soldiers, bro. Give me 10 killers and I'm good, bro. Fuck all that. And I'm good. It's always quality over quantity. You know what I mean? It's always quality over quantity. You see what's going on out here. These dudes think everybody is a nigga. God damn. But let's get into it. Let's do it. I feel good tonight. I'm energized and shit. Let's go.
Have you ever wondered why it seems on the surface that other people are consistently being blessed?
Fair use, fair use.
You desire for God to pour out on your life. It just doesn't seem to be happening. And the more you keep trying to make things work, the worse things are actually getting for you.
Now, I'm sure we all can relate. So don't even cap and crab leg. Don't even play dumb. We all can relate to that. That is common sense. You know what I mean? Let's gray area remove. Let's not play dumb. Like we Jesus, like we God. You know what I mean? Let's not play dumb. We can relate to that. Let's play that back. That was highly important. I need you guys to really understand this story. This is why niggas is blocking their own blessings. Blocking their own blessings, bro. Every time they do something, every 10 steps forward they take, they end up doing 20 back and then having to take another 30 going forward. This is why, guys. Pay attention to the story. Get your pens out, bro. I told y'all I was gonna do this story too. I told y'all I was gonna bring this story because I know damn well none of y'all went and got the book when I told y'all to get the book. There's only 2 chapters too. Damn, y'all. Fucking niggers.
Have you ever wondered why it seems on the surface that other people are consistently being blessed, but the favor that you desire for God to pour out on your life, it just doesn't seem to be happening? And the more you keep trying to make things work, the worse things are actually getting for you. Today, I want to share with you a very, very powerful message that I want to encourage you to watch all the way through that may indicate that you may actually be blocking your own blessings from God. That is coming up today on The Beat. Hey, my friend, welcome back to The Beat. My name is Alan Parr. Thank you so much for tuning in. If this is your first time here, it's a pleasure. If you want a free ebook, click the link in the description box below. If you enjoy this video, consider subscribing. Hit that little bell notification so you won't miss a beat. Okay, so I don't know about you, but I've been in that place where it seems like the more and more I try to make things work in my life, it just doesn't seem like things are working. And it feels like the blessings from God are just kind of held up or being blocked, or I just can't seem to break through. And it seems like I'm just stuck and stagnant in my life. My friend, if you've ever experienced that, I want to encourage you to join me today in the book of Haggai.
Facts. And that shit happened to me all the time, bro. That should be happening to me all the time because I'm forever trying to do some shit. And in the beginning, that shit be looking like it ain't panning out. Like it ain't fitting to do nothing. Like this shit trash. And you know what I mean? And it be at that point where if you stick it out, you'll fucking win. Or if you just leave it alone, you just throw your whole victory away. You know what I mean?
Yes, the book of Haggai. It's a very, very short book. It's only about 2 chapters. It's a book that many Christians do not read, but it is a powerful book, and God has a powerful message that
I really, really wonder why the Christians don't read that book. You can only imagine what we're about to listen to. This is the reason why they don't read that book. Because if they read that book on a given Sunday, you saw what they did to TD Fake's church, right? You saw how they aired that shit out. They left that shit. Man, listen, you read this shit in there, people, they ain't gonna believe it. They ain't gonna believe it. They're gonna fight it. They're gonna leave, bro. There's not gonna throw no money in that offering, yo. Remember that lady? Damn, I don't even got the clip. The $1 lady, like, stop crumbling the dollars. Stop crumbling the dollars. You ain't gotta crumble the dollars. Just put the dollar in the offering. Wow. But yeah, guys, it's real. It's that real. But y'all want to play games and shit, yo. Salute to the Goodbreads, man. Cause y'all sit here, y'all listen to this shit, and everybody else want to play dumb. You know what I mean? Everybody else want to play dumb with the shit. Like they can't see it. Like they don't know. You know what I mean? But y'all sit here, y'all come back every time, and y'all be entertained, and y'all salute me, y'all call me, and y'all encourage me to keep going. And man, I fuck with y'all, man.
He wants to communicate to us. Let's jump in. Beginning in verse 1, it says, on August 29th of the second year of King Darius's reign, the Lord gave a message through the prophet Haggai to Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel, the governor of Judah, and to Jeshua, son of Jehozadak, the high priest. Now, understanding the background to the book of Haggai is the most important key to understanding this book. So essentially, what happened was that God allowed his chosen people, the Israelites, to take up residence in the promised land. And they were there for hundreds and hundreds of years. But during that time, they were guilty of sinning against God, whether that may be through idolatry or sexual immorality or oppressing of the poor or
every single thing that's going on in today's world, in this modern society, in this democracy, this gynocracy, everything. Same thing that was going on in Sodom and Gomorrah. The same thing in any corrupt land. That's the blueprint, guys.
or just simply not carrying out justice in various different ways in their society. But because God was gracious, he did not just simply punish them right away. Instead, he sent prophets to them to warn them to make changes to their behavior. Well,
exactly. These are your OKLs. These are your Mr. Palmers. You know what I mean? Your Minister Japs, your Angry Mans, your Mees, your Anthony Spades, your AMSs. These are the people that's he sent to warn y'all. That's all that is. That's why you say that. That's why you hear us say all of the time, like, yo, we just a messenger. We just a messenger, bro. You take it or you leave it. You know what I mean? You want to remain a simp, you want to remain dumb, then that's your choice. I ain't here to force nothing on you or not on anything. Sis, you want to remain a program bot in the matrix? Be my guest, because you're winning, right? You're winning. Psych, you're not. You know what I mean? But if you want to remain losing, go ahead. I'm not here to force nothing on you. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you click into the thumbnail. You know what I mean? I can't make you click into this goddamn thumbnail. By now, you already know what you gonna get when you see a Mr.Goodbread video. When you see that bread loaf, anything of a bread loaf, you know what you're gonna get. The absolute truth. And it don't matter if it hurts your feelings. But this is what we need to hear. And I'm not scared to mention the real God, bro. I ain't shoving no I ain't shoving no motherfucking sky daddy down your neck. And I'm cursing. I'm doing my thing. I'm comfortable in my own skin. I'm winning. So what happened? What happened? Know what I mean? Remember that. Let's play that back. Cause he sent us. He sent us here to warn y'all. And y'all want to play dumb with it.
or oppressing of the poor, or just simply not carrying out justice in various different ways in their society. But because God was gracious, he did not just simply punish them right away. Instead, he sent prophets to them to warn them to make changes to their behavior. Well, they ignored prophets such as Jeremiah and Isaiah and Hosea and Amos and Micah and Obadiah and all these different people. And so they assumed that they had more time and that God wasn't serious and they could get away with more and more. And so eventually God punished them by allowing a foreign nation called Babylon to come in and carry them captive and take them back to a place called Babylonia. Now, they were there for only 70 years. And so after 70 years, God graciously allows his chosen people to return to their homeland and rebuild it. Now, with that background, here is the message that Haggai has to this group of people, this.
So look, he showed mercy. He let the niggas back in. He let the niggas back in. Know what I mean? He let the niggas back home. You think they learned their lesson, bro? You think they... Nope. Nope.
remnant of people that came back to restore and rebuild their homeland. Let's pick it back up in verse 2. It says here, this is what the Lord of heaven's armies says. The people are saying, the time has not yet come to rebuild the house of the Lord. So you must understand a little bit of background here. During this time, Solomon's temple that he had built hundreds of years before had been destroyed by the Babylonians. And so for the 70 years while they were away in captivity, God's temple had remained in ruins. And of course, God's temple was the place where God's people were to worship. And so now whenever they return to their home,
Your temple, in my interpretation, is your body, soul, mind. You know what I mean? That's your temple. That's what you're supposed to be building. Family, that's a temple. You know what I mean? And niggas ain't out here doing that. Niggas out here being selfish. You see the moms raising the kids crazy. Dads from the previous generation was dummies. You know what I mean? Absolute dummies.
homeland, God is saying, hey, I want you to rebuild my temple so that you worshiping me will be the premier and preeminent priority in your life. Well, the problem is that since they had returned to the homeland, it had been 16 years that had passed, and they had simply built the foundation for the temple, but they had not yet built God's temple.
Yeah, they walking around here fronting. They built a foundation, so they believe in you a little bit. Yeah, we know about your story. We know you exist, so we believe in you a little bit, just enough to pray to you when we get in trouble, or to say God is good when we get some money. You know what I mean? But we don't give a fuck. We don't give a fuck. We got all the time in the world. We can do what we want. We got choice. Feminism, modern society. You know what I mean, guys? You get where I'm going? You get where the story is going, guys? This is what the people doing. The people is not worshiping him. The people praise anything other than God, bro. They worship a TV star. They worship a movie star. They worship their mother. They worship their father. They worship the next door neighbor. They worship anybody but God, bro. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. They ain't trying to believe in that Bible. They ain't trying to believe in the basic instructions before leaving Earth at all.
And God had something specific to say about it. Let's keep reading. It says here, then the Lord sent this message through the prophet of Haggai. Why are you living in luxurious houses while my house lies in ruins? Now, this is when the message and the prophecy of Haggai starts to hit home for us, and it starts to be very convicting. Essentially, God
Facts now. Breathe, y'all. Breathe. Breathe. Breathe real quick. Y'all know how we do over here. Breathe. Let's get it.
is saying this. Something is wrong with this picture. Something is wrong with this equation. You are living in nice, luxurious paneled homes. You have media rooms. You have game rooms. You have all sorts of clothes. You have all sorts of toys for your kids. You have 2 and 3 cars. You have all these different things. You have furniture, expensive artwork, and all these different things that you have made a priority to get in your life and in your house. But somehow or another, the most important thing, which is to rebuild my house and my temple and to make my worship the most preeminent thing in your life, somehow or another, this isn't a priority for you.
His worship is the Bible. His worship is the teachings that he left behind for us to follow. You know what I mean? That's what it is, guys. Simple. Niggas ain't doing that. And we all sit here and say that. We all know, yo, niggas need to get back to God. Niggas need. All right, so what's happening? What's stopping niggas? You know what I mean? Because in the back of niggas' mind, the back of niggas' heart, one of them feelings is a tied back to the ways of the world. Where them feelings at? One of them feelings is tied back to the ways of the world. That's why they can't reconnect. That's why they can't reconnect to the Holy Spirit. Because they tied. They controlled. One of these feelings is controlled. You know what I mean? Sympathy, sexual desire. That's what it is. Salute the AVI. It is definitely the sexual desire. The V-Box. The V-Box is controlling 80% of these niggas out here. 80% of these niggas are kill their own brother, take his shit for some money. You know what I mean? That's what it is at the end of the day. It's all for some money to go stunt with a stinking old man. Listen. Man, listen.
This isn't something that seems to be on the top of your list. You're too busy building your own empires and your own houses while my house continues to lay in ruins. Let's keep moving on. It says here, this is what the Lord of Heaven's armies says. Look at what's happening to you. You have planted much, but harvest little. You eat, but are not satisfied. You drink, but are still thirsty.
Absolutely. Look at all of the women that go run and get this degrees, this diploma, when he clearly told the women to come down here and be a helpmeet since she couldn't keep her mouth off of stuff. You know what I mean? He told them to come down here and be a helpmeet to Adam, which is a man, their man. You know what I mean? For one, they didn't come down here and pick no Adam. They came down here and been independent. They come down here to be independent. They took the trap from the devil. The devil told them, it's okay, you could be independent. And they come right down here and be independent. So not only did they not learn their lesson, not only did they not do their punishment, they did not learn their lesson. Because now they allowed the ways of the world to trick them again. And that's the problem. These women are mad because the emotionally unavailable man, he ain't controlled by his emotions. So that's why his emotions is unavailable, because he ain't programmed. So of course we live in a society that's going to try to bash that man and try to make that man out to be something that you're not supposed to be controlled by your emotions. As a man, you not. You are supposed to be unavailable to that. It's off limits to your emotions as a man. And real women know that. You know what I mean? So I'm starting to see something now. I'm starting to really see the real true meaning of a high value man. It ain't got shit to do with money. It got everything to do with them emotions though. Cause if you an emotional, unavailable man, I think that you should be considered a high value man. Because the ways of the world fucking with people's emotions and is hooking women by their emotions, hooking some men by their emotions. So the nigga that don't get hooked is the most valuable player. To me, how y'all think about that, chat? What y'all think about that? That sound about right to me. That sound about right to me. But let's get back to this story right here. It's getting interesting. I gotta play it back.
Ruins. Let's keep moving on. It says here, this is what the Lord of Heaven's armies says. Look at what's happening to you. You have planted much, but harvest little. You eat, but are not satisfied. You drink, but are still thirsty. You put on clothes, but cannot keep warm. Now watch this. It says here, your wages disappear as though you were putting them in pockets filled with holes.
And that's a whole fact. Look at all our celebrities. Look at all the celebrities you niggas worship, yo. They got the most problems. They have the most problems, absolutely, and they got the money, and it just flow through their hands. Look at the poor people. Look at the people in the black community, right? They work the hardest, and they never got no money. Ain't that crazy? Them motherfuckers work the hardest. Let's give it up for the poor people in the black community. Let's give it up to the black community in its entirety, because they're all poor, but you know what I mean? That's a whole nother live. But in any event, broke is broke, but that's a whole nother live. But again, they work the hardest, guys, and always ain't got no money. Always waiting for the next week. Always waiting for the next week. That's because they sitting there running in the rat race. They're not worshiping God. They're not praising God. They praising the money. And what, Jay? As soon as you start chasing the money, that's when the money start running. That's what's happening. That's all that's happening on people. They done forgot who the fuck the man is. They forgot who the fucking man is. We can understand you don't need a man, ma, but you need a man. You need the father. Y'all done got so used to this I don't need a man shit. Y'all done forgot about God. Is that why y'all depressed? And then we want to run with this mental illness shit like that ain't something God can strike on your stupid ass. You know what I mean? God strike mental illness on you. Remember, he already here. He got everything here put on this earth to fix everybody that need to be fixed. You know what I mean? Remember, you play stupid for too long, you're going to get mental illness. That's how that works. So you go on with your cute self and keep playing dumb because you're used to the benefits of living from a lie, playing the victim. You know what I mean? Keep playing dumb, and that's what he's gonna bless you with. He's gonna bless you with lifetime stupidity, sis.
Have you ever felt that way? Have you ever felt like you're working harder and harder, harder than you've ever worked in your life to make things work in your career, to make things work in your relationships, to try to find a husband, to try to find a spouse, to try to have kids, to try to do all these different things? You're putting in all this effort, and it seems like the harder you work, the worse things are actually getting in your life and the less things are working out for you. He says you're trying to save money and you can't seem to save money.
A lot of shit ain't white supremacy, y'all. A lot of shit not white supremacy. A lot of shit not on white privilege. A lot of shit is nigga stupidity. Like I told y'all, it's because you niggas don't want to get back to your history, the Bible. Y'all don't want to get right with your God. You want to be like them. You want to be like white, not Mike. You want to be like white, and that's why you blame everything on white, cause you want to be like white, bro.
He says you're trying to find satisfaction in things, in food, and in clothes, and in relationships, and all these different worldly things. And he says no matter how hard you try to be satisfied with these things consistently let you down, leaving you in disappointment. But God is not done. Notice Haggai says here, this is what the Lord of heaven's armies says. Look at what's happening to you. So notice what he says. He says, hey, just stop for a second, stop all of your labor and just pay attention to what's happening around you, because this is not normal. Notice he says here, now go up into the hills, bring down timber and rebuild my house. Then I will take pleasure in it and be honored, says the Lord.
What I always tell y'all, I tell y'all this all the time, right? I said we all fucked up, right? I say that. I take accountability and include myself. I said we all fucked up. We all jumped out there being horn dogs, all of us, men and women. You know what I mean? We all jumped out there without reading our Bible, being horn dogs, getting addicted to the box, when our Bible specifically told us to find our purpose, you know what I mean, before we get married and start having these babies. That's what our Creator told us. And think about it if we'd have did it that way, guys. If a lot of us would have did it that way, we wouldn't be so bitter. We wouldn't have such hatred towards these dummies, yo. And sisters, if y'all would have did it that way too, y'all wouldn't be mad right now. Y'all wouldn't be using this victim joint. Because the only reason why you gotta play victim is because it costs y'all more to live as a woman. So now when y'all start having these babies, are you dumb? Are you dumb? know what I mean? So that's why you go above and beyond. Plus, your female nature is designed for you to hide that shit. You a cat. You gonna hide. You gonna shit in the cat box and hide it and cover it. You don't want nobody to see it. That's nature. You know what I mean? Real niggas understand that. You know what I mean? Emotional, unavailable dudes understand that. So you gotta get you one and stop running from the truth and stop running from dudes that could correct you. Cause that's the problem. That's why y'all bad mouth how they say emotionally unavailable guys. You know what I mean? Those are alpha males. You need to get you one, sis.
He says, hey, stop focusing all of your energy and your attention on your careers. Stop focusing on everything else but me, building your relationships. Once again, trying to get a relationship, trying to have financial security in the future. He says, stop doing all this. Go up to the hills, take down some timber, and make my house a priority. Put me first rather than me second in your life. Isn't it interesting that we can find so much free time to do all of these other things, these priorities, these goals, these dreams that we have set for our lives, but somehow or another, when God wants time with us, when God
Yo, guys, I always tell y'all this, man. Just use me as an example, guys. Learn, like, copy from me, mimic from me, guys. Y'all see how it is. I ain't corny or nothing. I'm one of the coolest niggas you ever known. I'm not scared to give it up to the creator, right? Every time I get on here, I acknowledge him and I give him his praise. You know what I mean? I don't play no game. I don't care who don't like it, who say it's corny or fantasy, and I don't give a fuck about none of that. And then look at my results in life, guys. So if it was a cap and crab leg, guys, you'd see it. You'd see it. Guys, we know who growing this channel fast the way it is. We know why this channel growing fast the way it is. This is God in the making. This is the spirit. This is the Holy Spirit. Y'all watching it. We are all a part of this shit. We are witnessing the absolute truth with proof. I love y'all.
God wants us to serve at our local church, when God wants us to pray, when God wants us to share our faith, somehow or another, it's not yet the time to do that because we're building our own houses and empires and not building the house of God. If that's not convicting enough, it continues. It says here, you hoped for rich harvests, but they were poor. And when you brought your harvest home, I blew it away. Why? Because my house lies in ruins, says the Lord of heaven's armies, while all of you are busy building your own fine houses. Do you see the message that God is trying to get to you and I as we start 2020? He is basically saying, I want priority in your life. I want to be first. I want to be preeminent in your life. I want to be the most important person that you seek to have a relationship. I want you serving me to be the highest priority in your life. And because I'm God, I have the right to expect that from you. And I will not settle for anything else. And God says, you know what? I will stop at nothing to try to get your attention, even if it means I have to blow your riches away and allow certain things to happen in your life so that you will put me first. Now, this is probably the most convicting part of the
Before you get to that part, and that's a fact, guys. That's a whole fucking fact right there, yo. Y'all know, y'all felt that part in y'all bones. Y'all had to feel that part in y'all bones, yo. I'm gonna play that part back, man. This shit is, man, it's a hell of a story. That's the book right there, guys. Hagar, go check it out. Read it for yourself. Get that. It's a good read.
priority in your life. And because I'm God, I have the right to expect that from you. And I will not settle for anything else. And God says, you know what? I will stop at nothing to try to get your attention, even if it means I have to blow your riches away and allow certain things to happen in your life so that you will put me first. Now, this is probably the most convicting part of the passage. It continues and says,
That's a whole fact, JB's. Every time, you gotta always give it up to him. And that used to happen to me so much. I used to think it was me, like, go stepping out there like I really did something. Like, boy, sit your ass down. You know what I mean? Lose it. I told y'all, every time I ever stole something, I lost double. I lost what I stole, and I ended up losing something I like. So that's why I knew very, very young not to take nothing that don't belong to you. Very young. You know what I mean? Shit crazy out here. But this is real talk, guys. This is real rap, guys. It's spooky. It's spooky. I got the goosebumps right now, guys. I got the goosebumps right now.
This. It's because of you that the heavens withhold the dew and the earth produces no crops. I have called for a drought on your fields and hills, a drought.
Exactly. And this goes back to everything. If you don't work, you don't eat. If you don't build, you're not getting nothing. God see everything. So you out here being mingy, not doing what he asks. You wondering why your life is up and down, roller coaster. That shit don't happen to people that's doing the right thing, bro. It don't happen to me, bro. All that, no, but life is up and down, and it's no the good times and the bad times. Ain't no good times and the bad times. The bad times in this household is if we fucking up on a bill. If we knew we was not gonna pay that bill, and we was gonna let it double over, and then we got to scringe. That's the hard time. But arguing between each other because you in a delusion and I'm in a delusion, nah. That's a curse. That's y'all not doing the right thing, and God fixing y'all up. Y'all fighting demons. So we not even gonna play that. We're not even going to play that.
Out to wither the grain and grapes and olive trees and all of your other crops, a drought to starve you and your livestock and to ruin everything you have worked so hard to get. My friend, these are the messages that the prosperity theology teachers won't teach you. They're going to tell you that God has a blessing in store for you, and all you have to do is just give and pray.
That's a fact, guys. Kevin Smith is on point. I'm on point. And you see, you know what's sad about it? Because the church, the grimy ass religion, the business of religion and the church, they make that godly life. They make that term sound like I don't even want to do that. I don't want to, and that's what's fucking it. That would be fucking the people up. That's part of the programming too. That's the church. They damage the people that go inside the doors with filling them up with bullshit, and they keep the people that's not going inside the doors fucked up because of how they do it, how they do what they do. So they got a fine way of deterring people from their Holy Spirit, from the real Holy Spirit, from the Father in you, bro. Deadass. They got a nice little elaborate plan and scheme. Now, because of course, when you hear live a godly life, you start, you know what I mean? Come on, we niggers. You know what I mean? We don't godly. You start thinking old church, all that dumb shit. Because remember, it's all imagery. It's all symbolism, guys. You gotta erase that shit, bro. That's worldly shit, bro. See it for what it is, bro. Get connected with your Holy Spirit, bro. This is a biblical wall. I told y'all that. This gender wall shit, fuck that shit. It's a biblical wall. Fuck gender. It's biblical. It's good versus evil, yo. I say it time after time after time again. It's good versus evil. You have good folks and you have the evil ones, the wicked ones. You know what I mean?
Praise God and all these different things. But God is saying, you know what? If you don't put me first, there may be some blessings that I want to pour out on your life that are being held up. Listen, now I understand from a theological perspective that this is a specific message to a specific group of people for a specific time. And we cannot always take everything that happened in the Bible and just transfer it directly over to us and say, well, because this happened then it's naturally going to happen to us. But I think what we see in this passage is that it communicates to us the heart of God, the character of God, and God's desire in terms of priority and preeminence in our lives. So my friend, I'll end this video with this. Could it be Could it possibly be that in 2019, or maybe for your whole life, that you have honestly, if you really get honest with God, you've never been all in. You've never really put God first in your life. There's always been something, someone, a career, a relationship, or your family, or whatever, that's just slightly been more important to you than your relationship with God. I want to challenge you this year in 2020 to just go hard for God, put him first. And I want to believe that if you put God to the test and you put him first, my friend, I can't say that God's going to bless you in certain ways. That's not for me to say, but I trust that God is going to have some amazing things in store for you, because the Bible says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all of these other things will be added to you. If you found this video helpful in any way, feel free to share it with a friend. Also, if you haven't done so already, I would love it if you would subscribe. Check out some of the other videos on this channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.
Facts, yo. And that's definitely some good ass content. I had to fair use that. But that's my guy, Par Allen, guys. That's Par Allen. Y'all could go check him out, The Beat. You know what I mean? He got some great shit over there. You know what I mean? He just stingy. You know what I mean? Like, you know, these Christians, bro. I swear, yo. But he got some great spill, and I like the way he put it. I love the way he put it. You know what I mean? So let's move it along, guys. Let's move it along. How y'all doing tonight, man? Breathe, right? Breathe. Y'all breathe, right? Let's breathe a little bit. I know that was a lot to take in. So I don't want to shock the brain. But where do we go from here? You know what I mean? That was good. That was vicious right there. Where do we go from here, guys? Where y'all want to go? Y'all want to go to the Book of Jobs? Y'all probably know that story. That's a common story. That's a mainstream story. You know what I mean? So let's go to the Book of Jobs. Let's play that, because that's going to show a lot. Because a lot of us be feeling down and out, and God ain't real. He ain't got us. Niggas that come up with anything like, if God's so real, why is it hell? Why is it? Nigga, shut up, nigga. And just worship God, worship structure, worship being morally correct, nigga. You know what I mean? Niggas that make anything up to not have to worship him. They'll worship Cardi B, Offset, Jay-Z, LeBron James. Niggas. They sat in front of that screen on Sunday worshiping all them stars and them NFL stars. You know what I mean? But what they ain't spend that 1 minute giving praise to the Most High. Niggas is dumb, son. Big dummies.
In the land of Uz, a remote and distant land, there existed a man named Job, according to the scripture. Job was described as being a blameless and innocent man who was God-fearing and turned away from all forms of evil. He was blessed with 7 healthy sons and 3 healthy daughters and a wife whom he loved greatly. He was also fortunate enough to have 7,000 oxen, 500 female donkeys, and a great many servants. He was a most prosperous man, but his success never went to his head, and unlike other figures in the Bible, he remembered to thank God every day for his blessings, and would send many offerings to his Lord. One day, though, God was approached by Satan, to which God asked, "From where have you come?" Satan replied that he'd been to and from earth, and so God thought that Satan must have seen his most loyal devotee, Job, who worshipped him daily and paid him great respect. You might say that God bragged about Job's loyalty, as he goes on to explain that Job is so good, he resists all evil. But Satan scoffs at this, and tells God that the only reason Job is subservient to God at all is because he has granted Job a great life, with a loving family, and a large number of animals.
Now, I love this story, because this is the story between your two egos right here. This is the story between the two angels. You know, when you was little, they told you that, you know, you got that story, that angel on this shoulder, and then you got that devil on this shoulder. That story right here, guys. That story right here. And you see how they picked a dude that was well off. That was God dude right there. Dude had everything. And it's not like he was doing meisty, mingy shit to lose everything. Nah, he was giving it up. He was doing the right thing and he had everything. You know what I mean? But let's get into the story.
In Job 1:10, Satan says, "Have you not put a hedge around him and his house, and all that he has on every side? You have blessed the work of his hands, and his possessions have increased the land." Satan's argument was that if God took all that he had given Job, then Job would no longer praise him, and instead would curse him. So God sought out to prove the devil wrong.
And this be the niggas that because you ain't do the right thing, because you didn't educate yourself before you went and tried to do something that you thought you could do, you could accomplish, you know what I mean? So because you didn't educate yourself and you went out there and did and tried to do it and you did it your best, your hardest, but because you didn't educate yourself to get the proper tools to really do it and put your hard work to it, and boom, you go blaming God. Oh, ain't no God. Fuck God. Fuck God. You know what I mean? Come on, bro. Like, are you stupid? Like, you see what I said? It's in that order, yo. This is why education is important. You know what I mean? The more you educate yourself, the more you will understand it ain't you that's doing everything. Like, I really think that the more you educate yourself, the more you'll get closer to your Holy Spirit, and the more you'll get closer to your God, to a God, a creator. You know what I mean? Dead ass. Because the dumbest niggas in the world don't believe in God, bro. They got the nerve to not believe in faith. The only thing saving them stupid niggas in this world, you know what I mean, keeping them alive, they got the nerve to fix their mouth and say they don't believe, or only 20%, or only 10% of it I believe. Like the stuff that fits me, make me feel good, I believe. Like, what a dummy, yo.
Over the next few days, Job would receive a flurry of bad news. Messengers came to his home and informed him that his animals were killed in a Sabian's attack, and his servants were slain as well. Another messenger explained that the fire of God fell from the heavens and burned up the sheep. Before he could even finish, another messenger appeared and explained that his sons and daughters, who were enjoying a feast, were crushed inside a building that had collapsed on top of them because of a gust of heavy wind. In grief, Job tore off his robe and shaved his head. He fell to the ground and worshipped God in spite of the tragedies that had befallen him. Job declared that the Lord gave and the Lord took away, and then he still blessed the name of God. Despite everything that happened, Satan was wrong, for Job did not show anger or disdain towards God, at least not yet anyway. Again Satan met with God, and again God boasted that despite taking away Job's possessions, his livestock, and even his children, Job still praised him. It showed that God was right about Job, and that the devil was wrong. So Satan altered the terms, and said this time, affect Job physically, and this time, he will definitely curse you. So God told Satan to do his worst, but that he must not plague Job with a fatal wound. So Satan descended upon earth, and cursed Job with painful sores upon his body.
And look, guys, these be the tests that God sent us through. And you be wondering why, like, damn, why the fuck, you know what I mean? Why me? But, you know what I mean? It is what it is. These be the tests. He test how strong you fuck with him. You know what I mean? He'll test. He'll send the temptation. You know what I mean? The beta male nigga just pop up in the scene. He'll pop up in the cipher with the offer you can't refuse. You know what I mean? That be the temptation to get you caught up in some dumb shit. You know what I mean? God will always send his test to see if you righteous or not, bro. If you capping and crab legging, or if you really about this life. You know what I mean? He'll always test you now.
In Job 2:9, Job's wife acknowledges her husband's condition and questions his integrity and his faith. She encourages him to curse the name of God, and even encourages him to die. But Job declared to his wife,
Yo, I forgot about this bitch right here, yo. Oh, that's right. That's because we wasn't doing the bad wives in the Bible. We was doing bad mothers. But when we get to our bad wives section, remind me of this bitch, yo. You heard her, yo? How you gonna tell him why would you tell your husband who just was on top of the fucking world, you was eating with him, to curse God. Like, you see these bitches? This is why they don't like the Bible, because it's some stories in there now that is really show you their nature. They is raw. God don't hide their nature, the nature of women in this basic instructions right here, boy.
That she was foolish, and that if he had received all the good things from God, then it was only natural they received the bad things too. In all this, Job did not curse God.
Pizza, pizza. Matthew, Little Caesars is now the official pizza of the NFL.
So the fun thing with the serpent is, how does a serpent talk? What? And not only that, but why is the serpent's punishment to crawl?
Job would receive a visit from 3 of his close friends after they'd heard of his plight. They attended to him with the intention of bringing comfort and support, but when they saw the grief-stricken, blemished man, they barely recognized him. They sat with him for 7 days and 7 nights, but none of them could utter a word to him. In very long Hebrew poetry that makes up most of the book of Job, Job described his pain and cursed not God, but the day he himself was born. His 3 friends, who, it should be noted, were not aware of the wager between God and Satan, would try to use logic to decipher why this was happening to Job. His friends, whose names were Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar, would represent the highest level of.
Repeat how the guys always come together, you know what I mean, and try to logically figure out shit. Logically use their logic to figure out what is going to be.
Thinking of the time period in regards to God, the universe, and everything in between. The main chunk of the book of Job is made up of the debate that takes place between Job and his friends in Hebrew poetry, and the 4 characters' discussion mainly focuses around the question, is God just, as well as whether he governs the universe on the principle of justice. The answers to these questions are explored in these debates between Job and his friends as they try to provide an explanation using this logic to determine Job's suffering. They come to the conclusion that Job must have done something terrible to earn this fate, and now he was paying for it. They were certainly not the most compassionate bunch, but they spoke in ignorance, believing that Job had sinned in order to earn such calamity, as this was in accordance with their belief about God's justice. To put it simply, they believed that if one sinned, then one would be punished, and seeing as Job had been punished so severely, he therefore must have sinned quite badly. For the most part, the 3 friends merely tell Job to keep repenting, and by fully devoting himself to God, even though he was already doing this, he would be forgiven and would one day be granted to resume his normal life, free from burden.
Now you see how his homies told him the right thing, told him something better than the fucking girl, than his own wife. Crazy.
But Job would disagree with his friends when they took the stance that he deserved his fate because he questioned God. When Job rebukes, he challenges their views, calling them physicians of no value. He does not find his friends to be of any use, and their presence has been most unhelpful. Job then calls out God directly, demanding for an explanation for his suffering. However, it's important to note that by this point, he was not necessarily sound of mind. He was still grief-stricken at his losses, and worse yet, his whole belief system was not as sturdy as it once was, for Job could not reconcile with.
Exactly. He lost control of those 27. He lost control of about five of them joints at one time. He lost control of those. And when you lose control of those, that's when you are the most disconnected from your God. You can't even believe, you can't even fathom in a higher being. You just in a constant state of survival, trying to patch the pieces together. You forget about the person that got the answer for you.
God, due to the fact that he could not see how his own punishment could be justified. Therefore, he begins to lash out at God, implying that his Lord is plotting against him. In Job 27:2, he states, "Why has God denied me and made my life bitter?" It also shows how weltering his faith has become, that he now believes God has turned against him. He accuses God as being a tormentor, where in Job 16:9, he states, "God attacks me, tears me up in anger, and gnashes his teeth at me." By this, he reveals what he believes God thinks of him, and assumes that because God has taken everything away from him,
That's how everybody feel once they take in this I'm a victim mindset. Once you start feeling like you a victim, you will start blaming anybody for your bad decisions, bro. We, just like I tell you, we the sum of the 5 people we hang around the most. Our position in life is the sum of the decisions we chose to make. Period.
That God hated him. In Job 9:22 through 23, Job explains that God destroys the blameless and the wicked, and he mocks the despair of the innocent. It's very clear by this point how Job feels towards God, that he actually blames him for his suffering and takes on the accusatory tone that makes God seem more like a dysfunctional bully than a kind and just being. Before God has a chance to rebuke, though, another friend of Job's named Elihu shows up to provide some wisdom. He shares some ideas with Job, including that God is just, but that he allows good people like Job to suffer and go around the rough side of the mountain, not to break the person or hurt them, but to redesign them, to enhance their character, and to make them even better people. Elihu also shares the ideas that God may cause good people to
Right. Fact. But people be fighting it. People be fighting it. They want to stay in that comfort. They want to stay in that funky ass shit that they built without reading the basic instructions instead of tearing it down, going to the hill, getting the lumber, and build and rebuilding it. That's all you gotta do. Rebuild it through him. But they running from him. So as they run from him, you know what I mean? They can't possibly build anything for him, running from him. And that's what's going on. So they think they could rock out with what they got, what they already built. Like nobody see that. And then they get mad at the brothers like myself with some sense. And they want to always talk about this, but the man. And then you got them little crying ass men that always want to talk about fuck the bitches, fuck these bitches, fuck these bitches. Like, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Everybody need to change the laws of their mind. Everybody needs some help. Everybody, 80% of motherfuckers is need therapy. Men and women. 80% of women, 80% of men need therapy. Cause they mother fucked them up. Single mother shit. Lilith sprinkle. So what are we capping and crab legging about? You know what I mean?
suffer to warn them of sin, almost to serve as a reminder to keep on being good and moral, lest one incur suffering worse than which they have gained.
Pizza, pizza. Matthew, Little Caesars is now the official pizza of the NFL.
Complexity is everywhere. Instead of avoiding
At this point, God makes his grand entrance and confronts Job about all the things he'd been saying about him being unjust and hurtful. He takes hold of Job and takes him on a journey through the cosmos, where he schools Job on the creation of the universe. In Job 38:4, God intends to show Job how wrong he is about everything, and how with his level of mortal wisdom, he cannot possibly comprehend the plan God has in store. God states, "Where were you when I laid the earth's foundations?" implying that Job has no right to badmouth God because God was so much more powerful than him. He shows Job how he controls the sunrise, manipulates the elements to make weather, and how he formed the constellations, and means to show Job how little he understands about the world. And so if Job is ignorant about the physical universe,
And modern women badmouth him every single time they play this independent junkie game. And modern men badmouth him every time they play this get over, I'm a gangster, I'ma sell drugs, I'ma not work my ass off like he told me. Every time either gender try to avoid their punishment for that debacle of the forbidden fruit, they're got hell to pay. Either one. I don't give a fuck. And you can put that in your pipe and smoke it. Dead ass.
then he is also likely to have been ignorant about the metaphysics of which God operates within. God is trying to highlight to Job that what he thought may have been injustice could have actually been God working within one's best intentions. The phrase "a blessing in disguise" comes to mind, where there could be a case where we feel like we've been let down, only for that situation to suddenly turn out for the better. God's role in this part of the story isn't to undermine Job for his lack of understanding, but to show him that one should not curse or judge someone, especially not God himself, because one may not be privy to all the information that makes a story. God then tells Job about two creatures.
And that's fact too. That be the information gap. Niggas be bearing false witness on a person. They be claiming they don't like a person, and it's only because there's a big old informational gap there that if when bridged, it'll be like, oh, I didn't even know. Right, right, right. You know what I mean? Big dummy, big dummy.
Creatures, the behemoth and the leviathan, two creatures created by God that are so magnificent and spectacular to comprehend that Job begins to realize that his outrage at God may have been misplaced. Job's questioning of God's ability to run the world justly is suddenly shrouded with doubt, because Job begins to realize how complex running the world actually may be if there are two creatures like the behemoth and the leviathan living inside of it. Once more, God shows Job how much of a gap there is in his knowledge, and that it is unfair for Job to go about accusing God of anything, when he himself does not understand the way in which God works. Job realizes the error in his ways, and repents, to which God is pleased with. However, he is not pleased with Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar for their poor advice, but Job asks God not to punish them for their ignorance of the way the world works, for which God obliges and forgives them. In the short epilogue, we see Job have his lands, profits, and animals restored to him, though not necessarily as a reward for anything, but as a gesture from God for having finally placed his trust back into him, and for learning his lesson that he cannot understand the way in which God works. Job's health is also restored upon him, and he is granted with twice as much property as before, as well as brand new children and an extremely long and fruitful life. The Book of Job is certainly one of the most celebrated stories from the Bible, not just because of its hero receiving a happy ending after all of his struggles, but because it dares to reflect the same profound questions that many religious people have today. Is their God just? Is he as powerful as he says he is? And if he is, why does he allow suffering? Why does he allow suffering to those who have not sinned?
In this story, you get all those questions answered. So next time you arguing or you find yourself in a debate with a flat out dummy, with a flat out non-believer in himself, because that's all it is. God carved us in the image of him. You know what I mean? And he expects us to carry ourselves in the image of him. And he was godly. He was walking on fucking water, bro. He had Muhammad, the Islamic leader, talking about him, mentioning him in his shit. So, you know what I mean? That's all. He carved us in the image of him, and he expects us to hold ourselves up in that honor, bro. You know what I mean? God was cold, warm, all that. That's a cold motherfucker, bro. He's a thief too, yo. He stole this whole style, guys. We're gonna get into that. That's the next segment on the show. You know what I mean? God forgive me. God forgive me, yo. Y'all know why y'all come here. Y'all know why y'all come here. Y'all come here because y'all know you're gonna hear me say some shit that's dead ass true though. And I'll back it up with the proof. God stole my God John the Baptist's whole swag, bro. He's copied and mimicked the shit I tell y'all to do. My boy God copied and mimicked John the wow, B. Tell y'all.
The poetic dialogue between Job and his friends is reflective of that which we may have today, where one who is doubting their faith may feel like Job, and that he or she may feel dissatisfied not just with God, but with the answers they are receiving from their friends. If anything, I would dare to say that Job is possibly one of the most relatable characters in the Bible. While he's made out to be this perfect, humble man in the beginning, we see that, like us, he's actually quite flawed when pushed to his.
That's a fact. You know what I mean? We all like a lot of us that we had good parents or good upbringings, and we was fortunate and we was blessed. So a lot of our old ego consists of our parents' status and the status we inherited from them because they had jobs, they wasn't slumped out in the projects and shit. You know what I mean? A lot of us, so we had the Jordans and we had the status, you know, the rollover status from our parents. A lot of us start manhood with that. the cute shit, the high school success, the high school, you know what I mean? A lot of us start manhood with that. But when life slap you in your face and put you in the Job position, that's when your real character comes to the light. Because that's when God's going to force you to change. He going to force you to do what we do best over here. Throw that old ego in the fire so that you could be who you need to be, yourself. Because remember, that old ego is a collection of who your moms wanted you to be, what superstar and all the entertainment you done took, you know what I mean? Human other niggas in your high school. It probably was a cool nigga in your high school who you scared of or you just wanted to be like him, so you took on his whole character. I know you niggas. You know what I mean? Come on, man, I'm a nigga. My mama black. She black as a motherfucker too, yo. She black like me, yo. Y'all niggas crazy.
His limits, in that his faith wavers in his questioning of God. Job dares to challenge God when he demands answers for his suffering. And in this he serves as an example that one should not assault God upon his own misery, but first consider how we cannot conceive God's plan, and so to curse him is nonsensical and futile. But there are those who do not see the value in the book of Job, and they view Job as a mere pawn of God, a pawn he uses to prove a point to Satan.
So the fun thing with the serpent is, how does a serpent talk? What? And not only that, but why is the serpent's punishment to?
There exist arguments that show the biblical God in a negative light, that his responding to Satan at all is immature, and that he uses the life and livelihood
People ain't said the biblical God, not Sky Zaddy. Get that shit out of here.
of one of his own creations to rebuke Satan is diabolical. The argument draws home the point that God could have easily just brushed Satan to one side when Satan challenged God, but God demonstrates pride himself and purposely hurts Job just to tell Satan, "I told you so." Not only this, but he also allows the devil to physically harm Job, all for the point of what is said to be a petty argument. Other arguments suggest that God in this instance is a manipulative creator, and that he picks on Job wrongfully. These arguments go on to say that even if this is all a part of God's plan, his explanation to Job in the last part of the text is lazy. It's like a parent telling their child, "I'll explain when you're older." God gives a similar explanation to Job, telling him that he cannot comprehend his fate because he is just a mortal. These arguments go on to say that God, being all-powerful, could have easily broken down his process until Job understood it. Or he could have easily have given Job the intelligence needed to understand why he had been punished. But instead, God just tells him that he is essentially not smart enough, and therefore he should just go along with what has happened to him. But in this, these arguments point out that God is actually lying, because his plan isn't so complex that Job wouldn't understand it, but in fact quite simple. God wanted to beat Satan in their wager, and was relentless enough to use Job as a means to do this. But it's interesting to note that God never actually tells Job about this wager.
That's a fact, he didn't. Our God did some old crazy shit too. He did some crazy shit, but who are we to question him? And motherfucker, you could have used me. He probably using me right now. Who knows? Cause I told you I was Cool G Rap. I was the coolest nigga. I was the coolest nigga you know. You know what I mean? I wasn't thinking about helping brothers. I was beta male simping. You know what I mean? Chilling, living it up. But he definitely used me. I threw that old ego in the fire, and here I go. You know what I mean? Here I go. You know what I mean? So let's get it, guys. Let's get it, guys. I hope I'm not boring y'all, yo. You know, education is boring. You know, they don't like education. They don't like learning. You know what I mean? That shit get niggas headaches and shit. But yeah, yo, moving right along, moving right along. Moving right along. Where we at? All right. You want to get to the education part yet? Nah. Matter of fact, let's get to some truth right now, guys. When I was talking about the unemotional available character, you know what I mean? Mrs. Goodbread, she did a piece on this a while ago. I doubt y'all saw that. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna play that right now because what she said was key for you ladies. So relationship advice for ladies coming up. I ain't coming right up. From her mouth to your ears, this is very important. You want the guy that is in tune with his emotions, bro. Got his emotions in check. Stop trying to pick the guy that you can control his emotions. That's stupid.
Today I am doing fan questions. I'm going to pick a question from the fans from the email and I'm going to answer that question. I've already picked the question. The question is, which guy do you think is better? The guy who tells you the truth or the guy who tells you what you want to hear? Now, to me, I think that's a pretty simple answer. Of course, you want the guy who's going to tell you the truth. Today is, which guy do you think is better? The guy who will tell you the truth or the guy who will tell you what you want to hear? In my opinion, it's the guy who's going to tell you the truth. You can't be in a relationship with a guy who's not going to tell you the truth. Like, you need to know the truth. You need to hear the truth to build a stronger bond, a stronger relationship. You need the guy to tell you the truth.
And that's a fact. Why would you want to mess with a guy that's gonna lie to you, sis? Why do y'all put guys in positions to lie to you? You know what I mean? That's the shit. That's the shit. And then y'all play victim. You know what I mean? Y'all put guys in positions to lie to y'all because y'all trying to control the guy emotionally. You have to let the man control his own emotions. You control your emotions. You know what I mean? You control your emotions. Pick the guy that's emotionally unavailable. Because guess what? If he's emotionally available to you, he's going to 9 times out of 10 be emotionally available to all other bitches too. Dummy.
Thing is, you need to be able to accept and receive the truth when he tells it to you. You know, sometimes it's going to hurt your feelings. He's going to tell you things about yourself that you might not want to hear, but it's the truth. So you need to hear it and you have to accept it and deal with it. Like, for an example, Mr. Goodbread and I got into it not too recently, you know, a heated back and forth. And he ended up having to pull my card and tell me about myself, tell me, you know, that my shit stink, tell me the truth. And I went through a bevy of emotions, upset, my feelings were hurt, you know, but at the end of the day, I had to accept the fact that he's telling me the truth and I had to fix myself. Like, come on, you're dead wrong. You know you're wrong. He's telling you the truth. Fix yourself. So,
Right. You know what I mean? And see, this is that's why I fucks with her. Something about a woman that love honesty and correction, bro, that I'ma simp my ass off for. Because you don't want me to have you out there looking stupid, right? That's what you say. You say you don't have me out there looking crazy. So that's part of me not having you out there looking crazy, man. You know what I mean? That's part of my protection of you. If I can't correct you, if I can't check you, then like what the fuck is we doing? Why is we relationship capping for? Why even waste time? Why precious time off my purpose playing with you? Come on, bro. And how are you going to get better, sis? Because the attack is on you. The attack is on you, not on us. The attack get on us because we be thirsty for y'all to fuck with y'all. And then the first thing, oh, you G, you gay, you yay, you yay. Why? No, just because men have decided we're not playing with y'all. We're not us men with some sense. Because y'all still got the 80% of derelict niggas that y'all like to be like, but men do. No, that's the problem. We don't talk for those men. We don't speak for those niggas. Because y'all busted open for those niggas. Y'all want us to spend money and date y'all and treat y'all out and play this traditional role. Y'all want to play that shit with us, but y'all want to bust it open and lay on y'all back and have a whole baby by them dumb niggas. Fuck out of here. See, that's the problem nowadays. But y'all go scream, oh, you, yeah, yay, yeah. Every time we call a woman out on their foolishness, we got to be, so y'all gonna sleep with guys? No. Just because women have slept with women, women are sleeping with women. But we don't plan. No, we're gonna go overseas, you know what I mean? Or we're gonna just go our own way, let God fix y'all. And then we're gonna charge y'all more when y'all come running back. How about that? You ever thought of that? Cause I will be back. Oh yeah.
You have to take it and accept it and fix it. That's it. That's accept the truth. You don't want to pick a guy who is just going to tell you what you want to hear, because in the end, that doesn't help you. It doesn't make you a better person. It doesn't help you grow. It doesn't help you work with yourself. You don't want someone just telling you, yeah, you look beautiful, knowing you look like a hot mess. Like, I mean, you want someone to tell you what it is to help you be a better you. He's just telling you what you want to hear, maybe out of fear of rejection, like fear of how you're going to respond to the information that he's telling you. And you don't want that. That makes your man weak. Next thing you know, your attraction for him is going to start lowering because
Ooh, that's bars, God. That's bars. That's spill for you ladies. That's spill. So y'all do it to yourself. Y'all turn the nigga into a weak link, then go cheat on them. Y'all turn him into a weak link, or y'all have him lie to y'all. Y'all force him to lie to y'all so y'all can catch him in the lie and have leverage over him, play the victim, and then still be with him, still bust it open for him, but then have the leverage that's how y'all control the niggas. That's why y'all be hating me, yo. Y'all like, this nigga Mr.Goodbread, this nigga really rescuing the slaves. That nigga putting them on the game, like next level game, like yeah. Niggas that been laying up with the Liliths for 7-8 years now ain't realizing that bitch a Lilith fucking with Mr. Goodbread. Yeah, certified official, been there, done that 5 times, experimented, all that, experimented 5 times, 6 times. I'm gonna stop playing with me, y'all. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And I almost forgot, y'all time is up. New school, bring your ass, bring your ass. If y'all in the chat over there, go bring your ass on over to Mr. Goodbread show, y'all. It's time to go. It's time to go. Y'all got an extra bonus too. Y'all wasn't even supposed to get no Miss Goodbread at the new school yet. All right, guys. So we back. Let's finish this song up. Finish that on up real quick. Go back a little bit.
you don't want that. That makes your man weak. Next thing you know, your attraction for him is going to start lowering because he can't tell you the truth. He's scared to say things around you, and you're looking at him like a weak man because he's telling you just what you want to hear, not the truth. That doesn't help either one of you grow. Telling you that lie because he already fears what your response is going to be when he tells you his truth, which is all, when you look at it, a part of bad communication. He can't tell you the truth because he knows how you're going to respond to whatever it is that he tells you. So avoid all that, though. Just pick the guy who tells you the truth from the beginning, and you avoid all those problems. All right? So that's my answer to which guy should you pick, the guy who tells you the truth or the guy who tells you what you want to hear.
Boom. You know what I mean? And that was dope. That was dope. You know what I mean? I commend her on that because I know she don't even like cameras and shit like that. She ain't one of them girls that like to be all up in the fucking camera and shit, you know what I mean? So, God bless her. I got it. I got it. I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do it. I got it. I got it. Yes, sir, boss. I got it. All right, guys. So we moving right along. I want to get into the story, guys. I want to get into the story of all stories. Why we get canceled? Why us men is getting canceled? Yesterday I did a show and I touched on the bad mothers, and I specifically pointed out one mother who manipulated her daughter. Well, she coached her daughter to manipulate her stepdad and into getting a dude who was all of the truth, who was telling the truth about relationships, and you know what I mean? And I be feeling like that. I'm kind of feeling like John. I know I'm Abraham and I don't want to switch, but I do be feeling like John. And all my truth tellers out there that be feeling like John, we gonna go over the story. We gonna actually get into that. I want to play that. You know what I mean? That's an important story. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna play that with no interruptions, and we gonna see how this. I know I'm gonna interrupt it because that's a dirty bitch, but we gonna see how dirty these moms is, these mothers is. You know what I mean? Word. Fair use, fair use. This is fair use.
King Herod has had John the Baptist imprisoned. He's fearful and confused by John the Baptist, but he's trying to please his fiancée, Herodias.
So already you see a nigga simping. A nigga simping. A nigga fuck with a nigga. He the king, but he fucks with the nigga John Baptist. But because he's trying to please his wife, he gotta in jail. He gotta imprison this nigga. Crazy. And that's just like how society is, right? You know you telling the truth. These simping forces know you telling the truth. But because of the woman, because they worship coochie, these niggas go against the grain.
This doesn't look like it's going to end well.
Now you see how greasy that chick is right there? You see how greasy that chick is, yo. And then that must have been a hell of a dance she did for her stepdad. I know they edited that. This is the edited version. This is the soft core version of it right here. Cause that had to have been a hell of a dance. But do you see that bullshit, guys? You see how, and this is what modern women do. This is what modern women do right here. This is how they use their kids to get the head of the baby fathers. Let's play that part back.
John, who was the forerunner of Christ, is also his forerunner in his death. It's interesting how people respond when faced with truth. King Herod was puzzled by John because John challenged his worldview. He was intrigued by John. He liked to listen to him. Deep down, he knew John was right. But still, when it came to a choice between pleasing Herodias or saving John, he chose to have John killed. It's always been like that. All too often, we're more concerned about what people may think of us than standing for principle and what is right. John, whom Jesus said was the greatest man who ever lived, was killed for the sake of a dance. The most valuable thing in the world is truth, yet it is too often sacrificed for a trifle. You know Jesus, you know the gospel, the good news. Well, let's ensure that we always uphold them. What are the insignificant things for which you are sacrificing truth in your life? Set aside a special time to surrender those unimportant things to the most important one of all, Jesus Christ and his love for you displayed at Calvary.
And I find that a very interesting piece right there. So, guys, we're going to get on into the educational part of it. Y'all already know we're going to get into our A-Lux joint today. And we got 15. What we got? What we got for you today, guys? 15 things you need to know. You just need to know about, you know what I mean? You just need to know. It's painful truths, guys. 15 painful truths you need to know. I mean, trying to avoid these, know them. You know what I mean? Knowing them is half the battle because now you already know what you got to start on, and you got to know what you already know what you got to work on, and you know it's out there what you gonna face. You know what I mean? So if you didn't know, now you know. Let's get it.
Today, we'll be breaking down several painful truths you will inevitably have to overcome at some point in your life. So, why not take some time today to prepare? You're not going to like many of the things you'll hear today, but by the end of the video, you'll be grateful you did. Hope.
All right, so you're not gonna like it. So breathe. You know what I mean? Breathe. Breathe. You know why you ain't gonna like it? Because for years you've been ingrained and you've been taking in stupid shit. All right? And now you finna get some quality information. You finna get some information that the white man don't want you to have. You know what I mean? But we stole it from Professor and his crew. And we got it. We brought it to the school.
Hopefully, you'll find this valuable. Here are 15 painful truths you will need to deal with. Number 1. Everyone you know will eventually die, including you. Too many people are scared of death, so much so they spend their lives trying to avoid it to the point where they're no longer living. They're just alive. This is a valuable reminder that your parents are here for a limited amount of time. The friends that you have will inevitably fade out one after the other unless you're the first one to go. Our mind does this weird trick on us where no matter how much you tell it that one day it'll no longer exist, the little voice inside your head refuses to accept it. It intellectualizes it, but deep down, the voice cannot comprehend itself not existing. Try it now and see what happens. This point is not meant to scare you, but wake you up to realize that, as cheesy as it sounds, today is actually a gift, which is why they call it the present. Number 2.
And that's a fact, guys. That's a fact. None. Did I send something? Did I send it to the wrong email? I don't know. I thought I sent an invite to OKL, but nah, not that I know. On Facebook, you talking about Aviator Views? Nah, I didn't send that. Not that I know of.
We are what we settle for. In life, you will go as far as you're willing to keep going. As long as you live, you will never hear truer words. People settle low all the time. They settle for jobs that make them miserable. They settle for relationships that are just okay. They settle for cities where nothing ever happens. They settle for less than they wish they got. Run the experiment long enough and you end up filled with regret. You don't do your job well and your partner isn't happy because you're not happy. Just take a moment to think about it. Instead of living with no regrets, you regret where you're living. All of this is under your control, unless you settle. Number 3. Life is a game of overcoming failures and struggles. Life is constantly throwing obstacles your way just to see what happens. It's the universe's way of figuring out who you're actually meant to be in this.
Facts, y'all. Now, this is the educational way of telling you about what we just went over, the Jobs. This the Jobs effect, guys. This the Jobs effects. That's all it is. You know what I mean?
Puzzle it's building. The simplest rule of all is never stop, never give up. As long as there's breath inside of your lungs, give it another go. Mountains seem uncrossable until you get to the peak, and the only way to get there is to keep putting one foot in front of the other. For every difficult problem you solve, the universe will reward you with something amazing. Think back on your life and the moments you thought there was no way you would overcome a difficulty. What happened next? How did it feel to know you've conquered your fears and managed to solve it in time? What was the aftermath of those choices? People don't reflect back on their lives enough, for if they did, they would see that for every problem they face in their life right now, there's already a solution or a combination of solutions that they've used in the past.
Remember, guys, I told you, always track your progress. Always keep track of your progress. That's one of the best things you can do. You know what I mean? That's one of the best things you could do.
Number 4, easy choices, hard life. Hard choices, easy life. Fundamentally, this is what makes the difference.
Now, that was a little swifty right there. That was nifty right there, guys. I'm going to play that one back so you get that. So you get the gist of that right there.
A solution or a combination of solutions that they've used in the past. Number 4, easy choices, hard life. Hard choices, easy life. Fundamentally, this is what makes the difference. This is why you see some individuals thriving and others struggling. The rule applies to everyone, no matter where you were born, your financial status, no matter your gender or sexual preference. It
Guys, this goes back to the point that I made about fuck niggas and bitches if they down here trying to skimp over the work. If they not trying to do what he asked us to do, his task. His task consists of work. You know what I mean? Women supposed to be in the house working, raising up, bringing up these kids so that the next generation not outside shooting and doing the shit they doing right now. Men supposed to be putting in the 60 hours. You know what I mean?
applies to everyone equally, and as long as you'll make the hard choices in life, you will win, given enough time for those decisions to generate outcomes. Number 5, everyone thinks they can, but very few actually do. We all think we have potential because we do. When we were children, that's all we are, potential. This little creature could become something great. Statistically speaking, it'll probably end up like everyone else. But because you're in the body you're in right now, you've experienced your entire life from a first person perspective. In your story, you are the star because everything is in relation to how you.
Absolutely. You got the potential, but if you don't do the work, if you don't put the work, you don't educate yourself, then it is what it is. You ain't nothing, bro. You just potential, bro. And potential don't win championships. Potential don't build that man temple, bro. He gave you the potential. Now use it or you gonna waste it. You know what I mean? And that's crazy.
Perceive it. But at one point in your journey, something clicks. It's the moment you realize this money isn't about you, that other people are the main characters in the story they're living, and you're just there as an extra. We believe we are destined for greatness, but destiny doesn't work unless you do. Some people make it their mission to push the limits of what their destiny allows them to do. They rewrite it because they don't like the terms they got at the beginning.
That's a fact. You rewrite your destiny. You see what I mean? You got two types of people in this world. You got people that see life as a movie, like, oh, well, my script is already written, so that is what it is. I'm a victim. I'm poor. I'm going to stay poor. Matter of fact, I'm not poor. I'm not broke. My bills are paid, but I'm living and I can't wait till I get paid. But what are you're poor? Broke is broke. And then you got people that live life as a game. You know what I mean? It's levels, it's adjustments you can make. You can add on to your character. You can remove things from your You know what I mean? There's people that's playing it as a game, and there's people that's playing it as a movie. The people that's playing it as a movie are the program sheeps. Those are your beta males, and those are your modern women. Stay away from them, yo. They're already predetermined.
Those are the people who make it, the people who use everything in their power to alter reality based on their wishes. They plan, they sacrifice, they set goals in such a way that they eventually achieve them. And once you see it working, you become addicted. If this worked once, what can I do next? These people use specific tools and methods that help them keep improving their odds of success. Number 6, being busy doesn't mean you're productive. Sometimes you keep running at full speed and it still doesn't seem like much is getting done. Your life is still a mess.
Again, now we went into the biblical form of this. This is, remember, God said you could be moving as much as you want. If you ain't putting him first, then all that busy shit you doing is for nothing. That's what the thumbnail said. you can find out why everything you doing don't count. Know what I mean? And that's what it is. Now let her finish telling y'all the mainstream version of it. But we done went over the biblical version of it. Now she uncomplicating it for those of y'all that don't believe in God. You know what I mean? This is the, how you say, the American way to win. You know what I mean? That's why we separate ourselves over here. Because I could give it to you the biblical way, and then I could give it to you this worldly way. And in any way, you gonna win. You fucking with the school of common sense.
For some reason, people seem to think that the busier you are, the more successful you seem to others, which is quite the opposite. Many think this happens because they don't have enough time, when in reality, it's a priority system that they're missing. You're too busy pursuing urgent things and disregarding the important ones. And we both know.
Exactly. You see how she said the priority? And what was that whole spill we just went over in two segments ago about how to prioritize God first, then everything else will fall into play. But until you prioritize the creator, your most high, your God first, anything you do gonna be for nothing. You know what I mean? Dead ass.
Know the important ones, push your life forward. Number 7, what you own is not who you are. It takes being able to afford almost anything to realize that you don't really want or need it. We know it sounds like rich people talk, but know that it is the truth. The moment you're able to afford something, it loses its appeal. We love luxury and beautiful products, but once they're out of the store and in your house, their magic fades away and revert to their utility status. Gucci shoes become, well, just shoes. But when you're young and naive, you tie your identity to material things because these are what hold you to a higher status. I want you to pay very close attention to what we're about to say next. To love is very different than to own. Let that sink in. Love pays out dividends regularly, while the things you own require you to pay rent regularly. It's just that the rent is paid with time, so most people don't even notice it.
And that's a fact. The more stuff you own, the more poor you gonna be because materials cost in time and maintenance and in money. You know what I mean? So the more things you own, the more money you're spending to own those things. The more time you're spending out off your purpose to maintain those things, guys. This is why I tell you, high value is in energy. High value is in mindset, guys. High value is in mindset. Don't make yourself a high value target as we keep seeing in the news. You see these rappers, yeah, they're high value targets, just like all of these so-called high value men running around here. You know what I mean? Don't make yourself a target.
Number 8, you're just not the right fit for certain people. Not everybody you'll meet will fit into your life puzzle, and you won't fit into someone else's.
And that's okay, guys. Once you own your insecurities, you'll understand that better. Once you own your insecurities, you'll understand that because you'll be in your own character. You'll be who you want to be, who you really are in your natural state. And you won't give a fuck about what people don't like. You know what I mean? You won't give a fuck about what people don't like. Dead ass. Once you own your insecurities, you lit.
When this happens, it's just best to move on. Sometimes we'll get a bit carried away. We make big plans, thinking about the bigger picture, only to realize the pieces don't actually fit. The sooner you figure that out, the sooner you can go looking for that right piece. Number 9, it's not other people's job for you to be happy, healthy, or to love you. Do it yourself. People expect others to come into their life and change everything. You hope that one day you'll find that really fit person who, for some reason, will make it their life's mission to get you into shape. You think that somehow the love of your life will end up on your doorstep and teach you how to love. Above everything, you expect other people to actively contribute to your happiness, all because of the bias you have toward yourself, as we mentioned at number 5. Happiness is a choice. Health is a choice. Love might require other people, but self-love is a choice. What you need is to start making better choices.
And that's a whole fact. Listen here, you gotta pick the emotional unavailable man. You gotta pick him because he's not gonna compromise on his time and attention with you. Yeah, you're gonna be feeling like you want all his attention, but that man is smart enough and emotionally mature enough to not give it to you. And that's what's gonna make you love him more and attract him to you because he's not simping his attention on you. Ladies, understand that.
Number 10, your mind is a scary place unless you tame it. Most people let their minds run on autopilot, the same way you don't notice your breathing until you make it a subject of your focus. Sorry for switching your breathing to manual mode, by the way. The truth is, we are all dealing with demons others know nothing about. It's not just you. Some days we manage to put these demons in cages, and other times we even force them to work in our favor, but these are demons nonetheless. The moment we forget to keep them in check, they start screwing with everything we care for as revenge. It gets to a point where sadly people decide to end their lives in the hopes that these voices will stop. Be there for your friends. That's all you can do. If you're feeling like this, it can become dangerous to your well being, so why not see a professional? Nobody needs to know. Self help is a form of self love, and as we just found out, it is your job to love yourself. Number 11, you don't have to wait for an apology. We know people who've been carrying around some sort of anger for years because
That's a fact, guys. Stop waiting for apologies. With all of the beta males and modern women out here in the society, they the majority. You ain't getting no apology, bro. They don't apologize. If that's what you waiting for, if that's what you waiting to start living your life for, then you use a fool, use a big dummy. They're not gonna give you an apology, and don't let that stop you from living. And parents that don't just go for partners, that go for parents. Some of your mothers is just not gonna apologize, bro. They not. Your dads, some of them not gonna apologize. They not. You know what I mean? And don't you let that stagnate you. You know what I mean? Go move forward, move around.
they just don't want to seem like they lost an argument. Looking back on your life on your deathbed, can you believe how pitiful that is? Friendships end, family relationships are broken, and work partners fail because of ego. Your ego is blocking your way to a better life. Number 12, you can't save everyone. No matter how hard you try, there will always be someone out there that you can't save. Actually, there's gonna be a bunch of them. You're not here to save everyone, you're here to save yourself and the people who want to be saved. Be like Jesus. The painful truth here is that many try to save others, although they can't even save themselves. Please remember this: a sinking ship cannot save anyone. Fix your ship, then see who you're willing to take on board.
And she's right. And with that said, guys, share this live on your social media platforms. I know it's kind of late, so I don't want y'all to disturb anybody in your phone log. But unless you know some guys that's up and some ladies that stay up late, you know what I mean, that's at work and they got time, share this. You know what I mean? Sharing is caring. Y'all know how we do over here. We got that quality information. We do self-improvement, comedy. We got everything. We do everything. Everything that you'll find in an average day at class at school, which is drama, you know what I mean? Funny, comedy, and education. That's what we got here, guys. We got a nice blend of that. So share it. Share the live, guys. You know what I mean? We're not gonna be able to save everybody. Definitely not. And that's not what we set out to do. We just set out to spread the word. Those that like the word gonna follow. And those that don't like the word, they're gonna try to get my head on the platter. They're gonna try to John Baptist me. But that's all right, they're gonna lose.
Number 13, everything is in constant change, every second. If the past few years have taught us anything, it's just how quickly everything changes. The future the Jetsons predicted is now. We are the Jetsons. Nothing done today will be done the same way 20 years from now. The world we are living in is changing so quickly, you're missing it. You are getting older. Your priorities shift. Your perceptions change. You learn what the world is like, but before you're able to process it, the world has already changed again. That's why you see so many angry old people. The world changed slower back in their day, and now they're unsure what the hell is happening. The best you can do is to hold on and get ready, because this is going to be a bumpy ride. Number 14. Better late than never, but too late is pointless. Don't.
And that's a fact. Stop the cap, yo. 30 not the new 20, and 40 not the new 30. It's none of that, yo. Your time has gone. That window has closed. Sit the fuck down and start educating the youth. Start educating the young.
Don't wait. Time doesn't care about you. It's too busy doing its own thing and pushing everyone else into the future. Sometimes, if you wait too long, the opportunity has passed. So be ready. Be ready with everything you've got. For when that opportunity door opens, sprint right through it and don't stop. Timing is probably the most valuable thing one should master, for if the timing is right, everything is substantially easier. It's easier to sail with the wind with you than against you. And the best thing about timing is you only need to time it right once, and your life changes because of it. Number 15. You create most of the problems in your life. Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We are not victims. We are not victims. I told you that earlier. We are not victims, guys. Get that shit out your head. You know what I mean? And it's sad because the victims, they don't even think they victims. They don't even believe they're victims, and they real victims. But the ones that's not victims, they try to make themselves out to be victims. This shit weird to me, yo. Very, very weird.
We decided to end on this because why not piss off everyone who's struggling right now, especially with the COVID situation still looming on us? Our safe way out is the word most. There are, of course, some problems that are completely out of your control. You can't control the weather, but if you didn't bring an umbrella, that's on you. Think about almost every problem in your life right now and what you could have done to prevent it. People love to play victim. It's a lot easier to do so, to justify your reality sucking because some external force outside of your control has decided to screw with you particularly. The hard
Bingo.
pill to swallow here is that ain't the truth.
Right.
We like to think that everything good in our life is because of our effort and everything bad is because of someone else. What if you were to flip that around? Everything good in your life is the result of other people helping you to get there, while everything that sucks is the result of you not being prepared enough for what was about to happen.
That sounds accurate. Now that sounds more accurate to me. You know what I mean? That sounds more accurate. That's a truth pill to swallow. So let's stop acting like we victims.
This change in perception yields far better results for every.
Hey, if we is victims, we victims of a hell of a mother. We victims of her. But we don't want to blame that. We don't want to blame that.
You dirty bitch! Look what you've done to my peonies!
They're marigolds!
Good God, I think she's right. They are marigolds. I may not know my flowers, but I know a bitch when I see one!
That's a whole fact.
Everyone in the long term. So be grateful for the fortunate position you find yourself in and make it your mission to give back. There's tremendous value in every single one of these, but we're curious to know, which of these painful truths did you relate to the most? Let us know where you stand in the comments. And for those of you still watching until the very end, here's your bonus. You've earned it. Just because you spent a lot of time making mistakes doesn't mean you should keep on doing it. Some people are overinvested in bad ideas. Just because you've put half your chips on the table on.
And this goes for you guys that do the approach. Just because you do 100 approaches and get rejected don't mean you going to get nice all of a sudden, my nigga. Use a dummy if you think that. So that's old. That shit don't work no more. You know what I mean? That's old red pill pickup game right there.
What was initially a bluff doesn't mean you should go all in. If you do, you're gonna lose. The problem with going all in consistently, despite the evidence, is that you're not playing a game where you need to be right every single time for you to win. And we both know it's just a matter of time until you don't. In life, you want to play long-term games, where you've got many rounds in the chamber, with the hopes that you'll get one right and it's enough. Get many of them right and you'll live exceptionally, but even one could make a difference. The problem begins when you're risking it all over and over again. Stop being over-leveraged. Stop gambling away your future. Hopefully this golden nugget will be the answer some of you were looking for. As for the rest, there's always next Sunday. If you've made it to this point, please write "deal with it" in the comments as a way to show you're dealing with whatever difficulty you're overcoming right now, and as a tribute to the me.
And that's going to take us on home, guys. That's going to bring us on home. It's been a hell of a class today. It's been a real educational one. You know what I mean? I had a whole Ray J joint set up. I was torn today because I had a whole Ray J set up. I had an April Jones set up. I had some old real gossipy bullshit set up. But I don't know. God just came over me within like the last 2 hours and changed the whole setup up. Yo, I know I threw my guy DeBell up for a loop right here because we was rallying up for the Ray J shit. But I hit that Ray J shit up anytime. Like that's easy. Like, you know what I mean? I wanted to do something real informative. I wanted to just help the people. It just came over me to just help the people. Do a live that helped the people because all day we was just doing discussion lives. I seen it. I played the streets today. I was watching a lot of content and it was sad and it was, you know what I mean? So I was like, let me do something to help the people get up out that funk. Like, you know what I mean? Fuck all that. Self-improvement, self-development, you know what I mean? Emotional intelligence. You know what I mean? And it's and I think I hit a home run with this live right here. So those you that's watching on the playback, be sure to leave a comment, guys. Leave a comment and do hit that subscribe button if you're not a subscriber. You know what I mean? If you're thinking about being a subscriber, just be a subscriber. And then when you really locked in, hit the bell for me. All right, guys? But look out for the cookout. It's been real, guys. Y'all know how we do. Don't play with your life. Wrap up, strap up, drink responsibly, guys. We do it for the culture. We do it for the culture. Salute to all my good brothers in the chat. And we on the road to 4,500. You know what I mean? 5,000. Fuck it, right? Fuck 4,500. 5,000. And that's what it is, y'all. That's what it is. I see you guys tomorrow. You know what I mean? I see you guys tomorrow, man. And I love you back, man. I love y'all, man. I love y'all. Y'all be safe. Y'all be safe. Y'all protect y'all neck, yo. Watch these niggas and don't fuck with these new niggas, bro. Don't fuck with these new niggas, man. So I see y'all. I see y'all tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, man. Y'all know, 9 o'clock.
You still want to hear what's happening with the ops? The op? I don't. You niggas still talking about the ops? I feel like if you 28 or older, you shouldn't have no fucking ops. You should be trying to get to a fucking bag or something. You should be worrying about bettering your life. You know what I'm saying? If you still got an op at 28, 30 years old, you moving backwards. I don't understand why a nigga a op.